Hey, what's going on? I'm Aaron K. I'm going to go over a BVC, kind of like a small guide, since I get a lot of questions on like what I use and some of the tips and tricks that I do. So I'm probably just gonna start out with like all the gear and all the setups and stuff and everything I use to go up against certain matchups, Fpk, Team PK, stuff like that, and just go over a couple things. So right now I'm actually set up for Fpk, so I'll just go over that. Um, Fpk is like Druid, um, Assassin, Necromancer, and Barb, 4 vs 4, and those classes are the only ones allowed in the Fpk. And then there's Team PK, which is like everything, Amazons, Paladins, Sorceresses, stuff like that. But right now, for the Fpk setup I'm using, it's gonna hit the 40 faster cast rate just with these two right here. It's gonna be my Sorc and gloves. Gonna give me the 40 faster cast rate. I'm using a grief. Want to try and get 34 increased attack speed. That's like the breakpoint for the best frames. And I have a beast as well. And these are the only two weapons that I use. Um, I always make sure to equip the beast last, okay? Because you want to try and get as many hits with your main weapon, which is your grief, and your grief. That 389, that extra damage is really strong. I mean, this could get a lot better, obviously, but it's not. And I use the High Lords, Gore Riders always. I don't really ever change these unless I'm gonna go with like a max block setup. T Gods, and they are life. Which these could probably do a lot better. Now I have a lot of faster hit recovery small charms because trying to hit the 48 breakpoint. So I've got a 740 in here, and then because I only have a 740 in here, I have to get my fast hit recovery from somewhere else. There's nowhere else that I can get it. Um, Ideally, if I didn't want to use Circlet, I could do something like this. Is probably more the expensive side for an Fpk setup. A cheaper one would be something along the lines of this. Have to be 2 faster cast rate rings. So yeah, it would be something like this. This would be an Fpk setup I would use. It's the same as before. Still going to be the 40 faster cast rate from the gloves and the rings, and then cannot be frozen shammed area. Now this is good. The cannot be frozen is semi-important to me in this game. In the regular Diablo, I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't really care because I didn't feel the difference. But in the Diablo 2 Resurrected, it's being frozen by a druid is super. It feels bad. It's very slow, so I like to use it now. Ideally, my perfect build would be have a Sorc with 2 sockets. I would put a low rune and a cham in it with 1 wisp, and that would take away my T gods, and I would be able to use a spider mesh. So that's the plan. I would try to rock the 63 faster cast rate, and I'd be really really fast in Fpk, which would feel a lot better. But 40 is still good, so it's not bad. So let me go over a couple of the 1v1s, and so when I'm going up against an assassin, I try to stack a lot of damage. So this is my assassin setup. I would throw on some still rends with the Sorc, just a lot of enhanced damage on top of these rings. Now, ideally, I would want strength on here, but this ring is really good. I try to have a lot of mana on my rings, as you can see. Um, but ideally I would want strength instead of dex. Dex is also really good because it gives AR. Stacks up my AR pretty high, which is not bad. In my cube, I've got the 6 bow helm, 3 to Warcry's Amy, Spider, 1 to all rings. Yeah. Demon Limb, of course, and on the Switch, Dual Hodos, which is to get me out of trouble and stuff like that. I can switch to higher, faster caster. I can get out, which is nice. So let's see. Now I'm gonna get into the 1v1s. Okay, this is the 1v1 for the assassin. Just throw on the steel rends, keep everything pretty much the same. High lords, hit the 85 max res, and yeah, that's about it. So I'm gonna get into let's see. I go up against, say, like a mage, I guess, right? So if I went up against the mage, I would use this right here. This would give me 100 lightning resist, so I would try to stack as much as I can. I don't really use this against sorceresses because, I don't know, the light res isn't too crazy. I would just rock it as if I'm fighting an assassin setup. But this is for like mage paladins, so I have a couple of these too, just in case like he's hitting me really, really hard. I would use circlet with 2 rings and probably stay around the same as 40 faster cast rate with these. I always try to stay around 40 faster cast rate, so I would stay like that. Against necromancers, I actually speed up a lot. I use a ring right here called Nature's Peace. I'll keep this ring right here. I always go with the higher mana ring for the chases. Nature's Peace with my spider and high lords. So this is gonna make me hit the 63 faster cast rate breakpoint, which is really fast. When you're going up against the necromancer, you want to be able to fly really fast. Teleports, and yeah. So I get the 10 from here, 20 from here, 20 from here, and the 20 from here. Get the 63 faster cast rate breakpoint. Druid. It's probably your worst matchup. At least for me. I really, really struggle against druids in the 1v1 because when you teleport and land on them, there's a new thing in the game. Well, to explain more, there's try whirlwinds, which we used to be able to do. Little whirlwinds like this, but for some reason they don't hit in this game. See here, it's too small, so you're not gonna be able to hit to do small whirlwinds like that. That used to like chalk up all the pets and kill everything really, really fast. So now it's kind of on top of that. There's no alt whirlwind. Like there's no thing in the game that I can do to not lock this zombie right here. Like if I put my mouse over and I use whirlwind on left, even if you use whirlwind on right, like people keep telling, it doesn't matter because the second you click your mouse, you're gonna lock that zombie. See how CTAs? See this? You cannot physically put your mouse over somebody without, like, there's even force move. Like if I hold down force move, it's still stuck like this. See this? This is what you don't want to do. So if I land on him and I just click my feet, that's whirlwind. I don't want to be doing that, you know, on a druid. And he's got all his pets, and he's just this big circle of block whirlwinds where you're stuck like this. On top of that, there's like the little pause on whirlwind now. So when you land on him and a NATO happens to hit you, you're gonna be stuck in the fast hit recovery animation, where your character is like, the whole time, and he's just gonna move. And because of the leap, so the leap combo, they used to be able to just like leap once and then jump on him and get him. Leap once, jump. But you can't do that anymore as well. So it's just a little bit slower. So that matchup's really hard. Okay, with all of those things taken away, it's actually really hard. But what I would wear against Druid, I need to get myself one, is a Berberkoa. So I would wear a Berberkoa, and let's just imagine that I have a Berberkoa on, and I would wear 2 Ravens. Really? Wear 2 Raven Frost to give myself a little bit of an AR boost. I'd keep this and I'd throw on a 20 faster cast rate amulet. So I would hit the 20 faster cast rate, max DR with the Coco Burra from these 3 alone. I would be at the 50% damage reduction, and the 20 faster cast rate with the Koa having 30 faster hit recovery. I would be at 30 faster, or 30, or I'd be at the 50. Sorry, the 50 faster hit recovery breakpoint. These are kind of overkill, but I need them for when I do wear my Sorc, because I wear the circlet a lot. But this is just for the 1v1. You would literally just get yourself just an amulet. You'll be fine. Mine's actually pretty bad. See, it's 1, but it has 20 faster cast rate, so it's worth it. That's for the Druid. Right now, currently, because I don't have a Koa, so if you wanted to go cheap, I would wear this right here. Throw on the Storm Shield for the damage reduction. Help me. But I'm not going to use that. No. Yeah, it's going to be the Storm Shield with High Lords, Cham, 2 faster cast rate rings, and this plus Dungos. This will put me at max DR, and with this you have to chant yourself, because it's your ARs are going to be pretty low, and your damage is going to be really low, so you need to get as much as you can. 12k is pretty good for this setup. You know, you're going to need a lot, and things to do in that matchup, because the Druid is very difficult. Leap a lot. You kind of just gotta imagine that you're a Necromancer now. In that matchup, you can't really chase him down. I mean, maybe if you're really, 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 really good, chase him down. But a good Druid's just going to do one of 2 things. He's gonna stand on a puddle and just spam in the hopes that you're gonna try and stomp him across the map, and he's just gonna keep spamming and trying to stay just far enough from you to where you can't angle him. So angling him is, let's say this is the Druid, right? Because all the faster recovery and the problems nowadays, say you're here, your ideal spot to land would be here, and then like whirlwind on him and just start smashing him. So good Druids are gonna know that, so they're gonna like put their backs against walls and spam up and down, or just put their back here and spam this way and this way. So it's really difficult to get in on them, because right here I would take like so much damage, probably get fast hit recovery. So it's all about timing. Really, really have to time it. Really, really have to try to, like, see, this is in the Druid. I would spam leap. I'd want to land behind him and come down, because he's going to be spamming nados here. But then, you know, a good Druid's going to know that. So he's like, oh, you're gonna land behind me, right? I'll just spam nados up. Then, you know, you just have to adjust. But he's going to try and stay off screen and do all that. So it's really difficult. And, you know, using a SS is very hard to do that. But mine's Eld for the matchups when I go up against a Zon, which I'll show you in a second. Now let's see. That's what I did against Druid, right? I showed you the Assassin. Let me give you a couple tips on how I play against Assassins. So for Assassins, they're gonna be I don't know, they're not really that difficult for me. Only really good ones are, which is a couple players on the game currently that kind of give me a run for my money. But when I'm playing up against an assassin, I don't do these little whirlwinds unless I get a direct stomp. I like to land and whirlwind at an angle. So if he's got traps here, I would whirlwind this way towards him, because he's going to be standing here trying to mind blast me. His traps are going to be shooting me, but they're going to be trying to follow me, like this guy. So the lightning would just be doing this right here, just passing through. Like, imagine my mouse is the lightning, you want the traps to try to like go as you're whirlwinding in a direction. So if I'm the trap, I'd whirlwind this way, and the traps would be trying to shoot me, and they would just be right behind me. So there's no fast hit recovery, right? Because the traps are not hitting me because I'm dodging them, and the second I stop, I get a free teleport because I'm dodging all the traps. So like he'll be standing here like mind blasting me like crazy, but he's got his traps here, so I'm whirlwinding here, and I get a free teleport because the traps haven't hit me. You might eat one or two uh, mind blasts, but he's gonna be so caught off guard the second you stomp him because he's mind blasting you. But you can time it really well. You can actually get that. So long whirlwinds are really good. I try to like land and like do really long whirlwinds in the hopes that all the traps miss, so I get a free teleport as he's mind blasting me. Because the only thing that's gonna fast hit recover you is the traps. So if you're able to dodge those, it's good. But like I said, really good sins will they'll be on top of their game. They'll be really fast, and they'll be prepared for that. So they'll set up traps like to where you're gonna get hit. Like a big box or a circle or something like that, and they understand that you're trying to dodge the traps and get a free stomp. But yeah, long whirlwinds is what I do for the most part because I don't. If the traps do hit me, then I get fast hit recovery, but I'm already whirlwinding, so I can just whirlwind out of it. Now, something to note when you're whirlwinding off their screen, don't just keep whirlwinding, okay? Because what good assassins are gonna do is they have you name locked, so they're gonna switch to traps. The second you see them start dropping traps on you when you're off their screen, just switch to teleport and start leaving because they let go of mind blast for that second and to spawn some traps, and they're just gonna try and recast and land on you again, which you just want to get out of there. So the second you're off screen, just start spamming the teleport. That's what I try to do because there's a brief second to get out of that. Necromancers, they can do a lot. Okay, necromancers can counter you pretty well. So, they got bone prison. They can use oak, and you match their oak. So they have golem and oak, which can tank a few whirlwinds for them, which is super difficult. The matchup. So basically, you're gonna be really fast. It's all about chain locking and landing really good stomps to keep them on their feet. The longer a necromancer is standing still, the more dangerous he is. Okay, so it's all about pressuring him. Okay, because he can't get any he can't get a spirit train going. He can't set up a bone prison as fast as you're on top of him, right? So the key goal is to utilize Zerk against the ones that bone prison a lot, and then the ones that like to chain, like um or train. Which training is when they spam like 7 bone spirits in a line, and then they teleport into it and spam some more. That's why you use the Oak Sage, because the Oak Sage will eat whichever train is coming. It'll just eat it. Okay, and you get to just kind of like, I don't know. You get a one free stomp. So if you miss, you're gonna take a lot of damage. If you don't miss, you can actually hurt him a lot and be able to get yourself out of the situation too. On top of that, with the free out. But with the Necromancer, it's about as many whirlwinds as you can. So land as much as you can. Now I do this thing where I chain lock. Um, you can do it with Zerk, like or just casting teleport at your feet after you land a lock. Like I would say, I would Zerk lock their golem, right? Let's see if I can find something that's kind of far away. So now I got this thing Zerk locked, right? So I can put my mouse below my feet, and I'm gonna start walking. I'm gonna let go of shift, and I'm gonna walk, and I'm gonna just press my right key teleport, okay? And then it's gonna put me on top of him, and then I would just re-click my mouse again and lock again. So it's like rinse and repeat. Now he's locked again. 2 clicks. A lot of times I would just land and then just hold teleport. And what that does is it allows me to, if you time it good, you can actually follow him a few. So in what I have in my head is like, you got to figure out how the guy plays, because a necromancer he'll do like 1-2 teleport spirit, 1-2 teleport spirit, 1-2 teleport spirit, stuff like that. And so in my head, I would copy that, and I'd be like, all right, so he teleports like 2 times and shoots a spirit. Oh, he teleports like 3 times and shoots a spirit. So I'm gonna just hold on to this like 3 or 4 times, and then I'm just gonna switch to Zerk, or I'm gonna switch on to this like 2 or 3 times, and I'm gonna switch to Whirlwind and just do a quick Whirlwinds. But it's all about timing, especially if they're using Bone Prism a lot. You definitely want to Zerk. Definitely want to Zerk as much as you can. You want to land right on top of him and Zerk. Something you can do is if you land and you get into a Whirlwind through him, even though he's going to stand there and tank it, what he won't expect is, say this is him, this colored grass, I would Whirlwind here and switch to Zerk. Just fucking. They don't expect it. Like, they expect you to try to Whirlwind, and they're saved by 1,000 bone walls and bone prison, but you can just, like, land there and just fucking switch to Zerk, and catches them off guard sometimes. But definitely want to run the setup that I was wearing earlier. You want to use Nature's Peace for that Oak Sage to keep up all the time, and 63 faster cast rate if you can. If you can't, Ariats is a good choice because of the AR. It gives you some AR. If you are gonna go Ariats for that matchup, getting a 15 increased attack speed jewel with enhanced damage or whatever you feel like you want is good. Um, but yeah, let's say Amazon. Okay, so Amazons, I use, well, obviously not the poison. This is just in case they have poison. Fire sorcerers, which I don't really use this because it's kind of OP. What did I say? Oh yeah, Amazon. Okay, so Amazon. This is what I wear against Amazons. Um, Cat's Eye. Ideally, I could throw on Immortal Kings, but I kind of feel like it's overkill. 61% block. If I was gonna go crazy, like if I really had to verse a really really good Zon, like I would throw on Shadow Dancers with the 25 decks just to stack this up a little bit higher. But it's gonna be, this is the setup for an Amazon. Now you wouldn't want this Cham in here. Um, I would get like another Ariats if you're not gonna use Circs. Get like another one and put an enhanced damage in here, and yeah, you're gonna be pretty set to go up against an Amazon with this. It's gonna be really hard for them to hit you, and you get a lot of free whirlwinds. But anytime you use an SS, you should demon them for sure. Always keep this because you're gonna lack a lot of AR. But I've got 15k as you can see, and this is just to go up against his Zon. I only use 20 faster cast rate because the second you land on him, he's just run mode. So it's like, what, I don't need faster cast rate to just keep doing these little short whirlwinds to go after him because he's just going to be running his ass off. So I'm just going to keep landing on him and landing on him and landing on him and landing on him. I also make sure you're walking. Okay, stay walking and just keep landing on him and going for it. Landing on him and going for it. That's it. The biggest thing that you can do to catch him off guard is, let's say, I don't know, just when you initially land, you want to land right on them. It just instantly puts them into chase mode and get those small whirlwinds. But yeah, that's my setup for the Amazon. Cold Sorceress, right here. 2 Ravens. This is probably a bad setup. I found out it's actually not as good as it should be for a Sorceress. So don't quote me on here, but this is what I've been using for a while. But I'm sure there's better because I've actually versed a really tough Cold Sorceress a couple days ago in the tournament, and yeah, this was not good. It's not good. I probably should have thrown this one actually. So yeah, this put me at not the breakpoint I needed. Um, Ideally, I would get some small charms and just replace a few of these with cold. So I would try to get up to the breakpoint, where whichever breakpoint that the rule set is. I'm not familiar with it, so I can't tell you guys. But I would ditch one of these and throw on a faster cast rate ring, and try to hit 63 faster cast rate, and try and
hunt him down that way because these sorceresses are going to be really fast. But this is my setup for the cold sorceress as at the moment. 2 ravens, some extra cold here, some extra cold here, 20 faster cast rate. This is going to put me at the 20 faster cast rate breakpoint, and yeah, this is the res that I'm going to get from it. And yeah, that's first cold sorceress. Fire sorceress. I've never really versed a good one, but if I do, I usually just put on 1 because you're like a giant tank with this. I'd wear this though, or either one, it doesn't matter. And just do one of these. If you put this on, you're pretty much unkillable. It's not going to be fun for them. It's not really fair. But I would just wear one of these, or if they're really good, throw on the second one. But you can kind of get a feel for what's fair and what's not fair. If he has to hit you like 50 times, it's not fun. And yeah, it's just basically the whole thing to do. But yeah, I use this. Let me go up against my Hammerdins. Almost forgot. So let's get some Hammerdins, okay? You guys are probably like, what? But yeah, this is what I wear against Hammerdins. 0 faster cast rate. And yeah, I wear this. I get the full Angie's. Oops. Full Angie set. This is gonna give me some crazy AR, okay? With Chant. I definitely cube bow on these 1v1s. Don't forget that. I'm just not doing it right now because showing off. Kind of lazy. 27k AR. Enhanced damage. Enhanced damage. I use G-Face for the Crushing Blow, Deadly Strike. Stacked it with the Angies. The Angies give me a lot of AR. Lot. And then the T-Gods for that 20 strength. Because I want to be hitting him really, really hard. And yeah, this cracks pretty hard. I'm not going to lie. If I was going to switch up the helmet, I could throw this circlet on. Gives me the enhanced damage and a lot more AR. As you can see, 29. Pushing me up. They're pretty high. If I wanted to stack a little bit more damage, I could take off one of these and sacrifice AR and throw on some strength to bump up my damage a little bit more with the 20k with some more damage. But ideally you want a 20 strength ring, which I think I have one. That gives you some super boost damage, but you want to stack as much AR basically. If you're still struggling against them, switch to Drax, so when you do hit, you can bleed them out, if they're a little too fast for you. But this is what I would wear right here. Just crazy AR. Okay? 29k. Not only that, negative defense on the Grief, negative to 25% target defense. Super, super good now. So yeah, you're pretty much hitting him like anytime he does anything, you just clip him. I don't use faster cast rate in this matchup because just trying to catch him. It's kind of a boring duel. Yeah, it's pretty much everybody. That's sorceresses, paladins, smiters. I would just wear the basic Druid setup, just the dungos with and I would throw on the G phase, just throw on the G phase stats, more damage. This is what I would wear against a smiter. Okay, if it's a VT, no, I wouldn't. If it's a VT, I would throw on my versus Sin setup, but this just gives me some DR versus Smiter. But I don't really like using Shield versus Smiter, to be honest. This is just kind of pointless. You shouldn't get hit by a Smiter if you're really good, only if they're really good, to be honest. I guess it's kind of a matchup thing, but say this is the Smiter, right? You actually have some crazy range with these, okay? These axes have really high range. Let me find somebody so I can show you. Okay, you might think that, oh, this is a smiter. I should whirlwind straight through him, right? Cross over, but you actually can hit somebody from a lot further than you think. So let's see this whirlwind on this guy. You see that? I don't know if you can realize. Let's see if I can get a better angle. Okay, I'm gonna whirlwind next to these guys, and I want you to see that I actually can hit them. You see that? That's without going through them. Let's do it from the side. Look at that. Look how I'm able to hit that guy. Okay? WhirlWind has a lot of range with these axes. A lot of people don't understand that. You do not have to go through target. You don't want to ever whirlwind through a smiter. Okay? Because you can hit him really far. Okay? It's called clipping. And you can bleed him out if you use shrings and stuff like that. Like, he actually just bled out. Yeah. Look at that. I don't have to whirlwind through the guy. I can whirlwind next to him. So if this is the smiter right here, I would whirlwind here. Over and over. He'll just be standing there trying to smite me. He can't hit me. And I'll be able to hit him. Those are pretty much the best tips I can give against that matchup. VTs are a little harder. If it's a VT, I'd probably throw on my my rings and those four the four small charms that I have over here. But yeah, this is everything that I have in my stash that I use. This is the setup for max block if I need it, really high max block. But yeah, I would use Shadow Dancers with that, with the Cat's Eye. But yeah, this is everything I wear, everything I have. Got a High Lords, Ravens, two Nature Pieces, Dwarves, Cat's Eye. Now, the two Nature Pieces come handy when you're going up against something with poison. So I would wear something like this. Two Natures, like a Kiara's, and just I would just rock like a 20 faster cast rate. This is probably going up against like a Poison Nova or something. There we go. It'd be 20 faster cast rate with a lot of poison res. And I would be able to hunt him down pretty easily. 20 faster cast rate. Just fly after him if he's like Poison Nova. But that's for that, which I never do. I mainly FPK, to be honest. I kind of sit in the FPK lobbies. I don't do much pubs. I used to, but I'm not a fan of it. I like to do FPK. And yeah, this is what I use in the FPK most of the time. Stack some super damage. If the Druid is super good, then I'm forced to switch to the one Raven. That's only if the Necromancer and the Druid are teaming me. So I would switch to this. I would drop that ring right here because it has less mana, and I would go with 20 decks. Ravenfrost for the cannot be frozen, and yeah, I would wear this as my FPK. But if I'm pretty much, I got a really good assassin on my team and a really good team, or you know anybody really good, I would just go to the extra damage, which would be set up right here. This would be my FPK setup, and yeah, that would be cool. That would be the nasty setup. Yeah, I like this. A lot of damage. I switched out a couple of my Grand Charms. But yeah, this is 12k setup. Huge damage, huge whirlwinds with the enhanced damage. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any more questions or certain matchups, feel free to let me know. Contact me on JSP or my Discord or something like that. If you see me anywhere, you know, feel free to ask me any questions. I love helping out the community and stuff like that with questions. Before I go, let's go over some of the skills that I do. I probably should have started with this first, but anyways. First things first, max whirlwind, of course. I max leap. Axe mastery. Let's see. I put base 4 points in burst of speed. I try to keep it at 40% ish. Same with natural resistance, just 4 points. 1 into berserk, 1 into everything else here, as you can see. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Just max those two. Maxed 4 points into each. War cries. Max battle orders, of course. 1 into battle command, and then the rest of your remaining points go into shout. If I wanted to go Warcry, I could, but like I said, I sit in FPK lobby. I don't really use it, but it is very useful if you did want to. But yeah, those are my skills. Okay, max, 4, 4, max. There we go. That's my setup for the BVC. Couple things as far as WhirlWind. You want to try to do WhirlWinds like this. I actually got a tip from a friend, Toshank. You guys probably know about Toshank. Something to keep in mind if you play on these graphics. You're gonna see smoke under my feet. You see the smoke? There's not enough smoke there. Okay. This is kind of a good tip to know if your whirlwinds are gonna hit or not. If you see a lot of dust fall on your guy like that, that's a good indicator that these whirlwinds are gonna land and hurt the person. But if they're too small like this, I guess that's not really too much of a good way to figure it out. But whirlwinds like this will hit. Whirlwinds like this won't hit. It's kind of, you gotta be careful with your whirlwinds. You gotta be careful with name locking, stuff like that. Try to keep it. Imagine a box here. So when you land on your character, the guy, you want to always like just kind of keep your mouse away. Now the initial click. Let's see if I can find something real quick before I let you guys go. The initial click of the whirlwind. If you don't click on the character's name, okay. Remember how I told you before? This is whirlwind. Okay, mouse 1. That's whirlwind. I've locked him. I can't do anything. The initial click, if it misses, okay, like that, you can bring your mouse through him now if you hold it down. Okay? So don't be afraid after you get your whirlwind off. Like here we go. Oh, I messed up. Okay, it doesn't work. Now I click past him. Oh, look at that. Now I can bring my mouse through anything I want to bring it through. No problem. And just keep going back and forth, back and forth. Okay, and that's what CTA is. But now if I do it here, now look at that. Now I can do some pretty tight whirlwinds because I initially click without clicking on the name. Look at that. Now I can go through them. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind and make sure you try that. But yeah, hopefully this guide helps you guys understand a little bit of the certain matchups and answer a few questions that you guys have. Hardest matchups for me, it's going to be the Druid 1v1. It's very difficult. Very good Druid. Very hard. Everything else is pretty balanced to me, same as before. But yeah, hopefully this helps you guys out, and you know, like I said, I answered a couple of you guys' questions. Feel free to message me on my Discord or JSP for any more questions. And yeah, thanks for your guys' time.